The promise of AI in-game is vast, but indie developers face unique challenges. Limited budgets, small teams, and steep learning curves make 3D asset creation a major bottleneck. A recent CHI Play study described generative AI as an ill-informed co-worker used out of necessity, good yet flawed. Meanwhile, a Metaverse case study highlights how AI-assisted workflows can transform asset pipelines, but warns of optimization and quality hurdles. AI tools like Kadeem, Adobe Firefly 3D, NVIDIA Omniverse, and Emerge Moves models from Microsoft are enabling new ways to prototype assets and gameplay. A Wired article reveals that while Microsoft Moves can recreate gameplay visuals, it's intended to augment creativity, not replace artists. I interviewed Adam Tingley, a specialist technician games, VR, computing, IT immersive technologies, and indie game developer, about this real-world use of these tools in indie pipeline.
We actively encourage our students to utilize AI as a tool. So not as a finalized asset as such, but as a route of speeding up the process to get there. In terms of creating a fully functional 3D model or 3D asset, we teach the fundamentals of how to do all of these steps behind the scenes, and then AI will come in and assist with, for example, the rigging of a model, or a potential like retopologizing of a model, or something along those lines to speed up the process of getting it from a rough sketch and outline into a fully fledged asset ready for a game. It does indeed help speed up the process, but there is some caution advised around where that tool should be used and how it should be used in the pipeline process. A lot of AI-generated 3D models, they tend to not have correct meshes. So when you're creating animations, especially around sort of like facial animations, you need certain patterns of quads and certain patterns of a mesh to make it able to be manipulated in all the ways that you want it to be for speech or for facial movement, and AI isn't quite on the mark with that at the moment. It tends to create a passable looking 3D model, but when it comes to actually being functional, it's got a little way to go. So as I say, it's good for creating very rough cuts of things, but then expertise is required to refine it and make it something that's actually usable as an asset. So usage of AI has taken out some of the laborious sections of creation of these assets. As I say, one of the examples I gave earlier on was the rigging of a model, which can be a relatively laborious and quite tricky thing to do, and especially if you're doing that repeatedly for especially humanoid figures. It's likely going to be a very similar skeleton, a very similar rig structure, every single time it's done, and it just cuts down that process. So yeah, it absolutely does help speed up that pipeline process, yes. The ways in which I see it saving time the most is getting from an initial idea to a minimum viable product or a vertical slice of a game. Getting it up to that level, it speeds up massively. You know, you can use, traditionally you'd use asset store pieces or placeholders or bits and pieces like that to help speed up your process. But now we have AI tools that can help you get to that point faster. So you can iterate on ideas and have a massive idea generation, and hopefully improve the final product. A blended approach is probably my own view. For ideation and for creation of things very quickly, very early on in the process, to just test our ideas. AI is great for that.
My hands-on test showed a 50% time reduction using AI tools, 40 minutes versus 3 hours manually, but it needed 2 times longer cleanup. This matches findings in a Concordia University study, where AI tools scored high in user satisfaction but required manual refinement. Generative AI excels at ideation and automation, but originally suffers. A Journal of Intelligence study with 42 developers found AI speeds up prototyping but raises creativity dependency concerns, and copyright frameworks struggle to address AI generated assets. Experts call for mixed initiative workflows. Margarito introduced frameworks for shared AI human creativity. Hasi and Pokuta call for clear roles in co-creation. Even large studios remain cautious, according to Financial Times, while Microsoft and EA experiment with generative tools. Concerns about IP quality and ethics persist. Meanwhile, a Wired expose notes job displacement risks even for seasoned 3D artists. In summary, AI is reshaping 3D asset workflows, enabling fast, accessible prototyping, but it can't replace human artistry. The consensus across academia, developers, and studios points to hybrid workflows where AI accelerates and human refine. The future, an intelligent partnership where AI is the assistant, not the artist. While AI-assisted 3D creation is rapidly maturing, its adoption varies across the industry. Indie developers use it as a time-saving necessity. But what about the larger studios, the AAA giants? According to a 2024 Financial Times feature, many major publishers like EA and Microsoft are trailing AI in pre-production, but often with legal and ethical caution. Concerns range from IP ownership of generated assets to fear of creative de-skilling and workforce reduction. In fact, a weird investigation revealed that game artists in outsourcing hubs like the Philippines and Malaysia are already seeing a decline in contract opportunities due to the ease of using AI for placeholder and background assets. A 2023 IGDA report highlights this divide. While 67% of indie studios are experimenting with AI tools, only 18% of AAA studios have integrated AI into full pipelines. There is also a question of authorship. Who owns an asset generated by AI trained and thousands of copyrighted models? In academia, Hayes and Pokuta suggest the answer lies in co-worker frameworks. Systems where artists maintain control and AI supports ideation, blockout, or repetition-heavy tasks. Suppose Margarito proposed a hybrid pipeline where AI handles draft modeling and human artists finalize topology, texturing, and rigging. In my case, study this approach reflect real expressions. In my case study, this approach reflect real experience. While Kareem helped generated a base model from concept art, manual cleanup took as long as it saved. Quality and artistic details still require human intervention. The key insight emerging from developers, scholars, and studio alike in this: AI is powerful assistant but not yet a creative partner. Instead of asking whether AI will replace artists, the better question is how can we build tools that empower creators instead of undermining them. As we move forward, it is not about AI or human, but rather AI and human. A synergy where mechanics handle the grind and human bring the soul.